I don't think we've officially met. I'm Chloe. Hi, Chloe. I'm Emma. It's so nice.
Welcome to another deep dive right here on Easy English Flow. We are so glad you are joining us today.
We really are. And today we have a fantastic and honestly very relatable topic for you.
We really do, because, well, you know that feeling. You are standing in a crowded room, maybe it is a networking event, or maybe just a friend's casual dinner party.
Oh yeah, holding that lukewarm drink.
Exactly. You are holding a lukewarm beverage, trying to look, approachable, but maybe not desperate. And suddenly, someone walks up, extends a hand, and drops the four most terrifying words in the English language.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes! Tell me about yourself. It is just, it is panic-inducing.
It is entirely universal.
Hmm.
The sheer panic. Your mind goes completely blank, and it feels like a pop quiz on your own existence.
Right.
You suddenly forget where you live, what you do for a living, and whether or not you actually have any hobbies at all.
Exactly. I mean, it is like your brain just pulls the fire alarm, the fight or flight response completely kicks in, and you just start rambling.
Oh, the rambling is the worst part.
It is. But what if there was an actual foolproof blueprint for this? Like a conversational framework that completely eliminates that panic and makes you sound incredibly natural.
Which is exactly what we all want.
Right. So that is our mission for today's deep dive. We are unpacking a fantastic educational animation that maps out the exact formula for the perfect introduction. And honestly, it is going to save you from so much future awkwardness.
It really is. And what makes this video so effective isn't just that it hands you a formula. It gives us a highly entertaining social laboratory, really.
Oh, it is so entertaining.
We get to watch this dynamic play out in real time between three incredibly recognizable archetypes. We see the framework executed flawlessly, and perhaps more importantly, we witness an absolute slow-motion train wreck of an introduction.
Oh my goodness,
An
yeah.
introduction that just breaks every single rule of human connection.
The train wreck is easily the most instructive part of the whole video. So let's set the scene for you.
I don't think we've officially met. I'm Chloe. Hi, Chloe. I'm Emma. It's so nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. So, tell me about yourself. What brings you to this event? Well, I'm originally from London, but I've been based here in New York for about 2 years. I work as a graphic designer. I'm from Seattle, and I work in marketing, focusing on digital campaign. Oh, that's fascinating. So you are a creative marketing pro. I try, but when I'm not glued to my computer, you can usually find me hiking on trails or trying out new vegan recipes. Right now, my main goal is to finish a big project, but in the future, I hope to run my own small marketing agency. We have similar goals. My free time is spent in vintage bookshops, and I'd love to open my own design studio. Wait, is that guy in the gray suit winking at you? Oh, Richard. Yeah, he hit on me earlier. But honestly, he has no filter. He talked about himself for 20 minutes straight. I couldn't get a word in. No way. Seriously? He did the same to me. He's a total player. He uses the same boring resume lines with every girl in the room. Unbelievable. Let's grab a drink far away from him. I can't stand people who only talk about themselves. Run. Let's go.
The animation drops us right into a classic networking mixer. We meet our two heroes first. There is Chloe, an American originally from Seattle who works in marketing. And there is Emma, a British graphic designer who has been based in New York for a couple of years.
Two very normal, approachable people.
Exactly. They are standing there ready to mingle. But then, entering from stage left, we meet the villain of our story.
Richard.
Player Richard. Oh, we really need to unpack Richard because he is a walking, talking, cautionary tale.
You really is.
He is the embodiment of what happens when you treat a social interaction like a corporate transaction.
Yeah, Richard's approach fails on multiple psychological levels. But his primary offense is that he has absolutely no filter.
None at all.
And when we say someone have no filter in English, we mean they lack that crucial internal monologue. They say whatever pops into their head without pausing to scan the room.
Or read the body language.
Exactly. They don't read body language or consider if their thoughts are actually socially appropriate. Richard just broadcasts his internal state to whoever happens to be trapped in his vicinity.
And what he is broadcasting is just agonizing. I mean, he corners Chloe and Emma, and instead of having a conversation, he delivers a data dump.
A literal wall of words.
Yes. He talks at them for 20 straight minutes about his proactive skills. He sounds like a robot reading a LinkedIn profile out loud. It is just a complete monologue about synergy and paradigms.
Which is cognitively exhausting for the listener. A conversation requires a reciprocal exchange of energy.
Right. It has to go both ways.
Exactly. But Richard builds a wall of text. He is forcing Chloe and Emma to absorb all this irrelevant data without giving them a single entry point to participate.
None.
And to make matters worse, while he is delivering this, verbal resume, he's actively trying to flirt with both of them simultaneously.
He is hitting on them, and this is a great subtle linguistic point from the video. If you meet someone organically and there is mutual chemistry, you might say you were flirting. But when someone corners you, completely ignores your body language, and just unwantedly pushes their romantic interest on you, they are hitting on you. It is an annoyance. It is an intrusion.
It is definitely an intrusion.
Right. Richard is trying to play the role of this charming player, someone who dates or flirts with multiple people without any genuine intention, but his execution is so clinical and devoid of empathy that it backfires spectacularly.
He essentially bores them to death. And that phrase, bored to death, is such a perfect hyperbole.
It really paints a picture.
It does. It captures the physical toll that listening to a relentless, unfiltered monologue takes on your nervous system. You aren't just disinterested. You are actively depleted by the interaction.
Yes, depleted is the perfect word.
But there's a fascinating sociological twist here. Richard was so monumentally terrible at introducing himself that he accidentally catalyzed a genuine connection between Chloe and Emma.
I found that hilarious. He bonded them together purely through the shared trauma of having to endure him. As soon as he finally walks away, Chloe looks at Emma and says something to the effect of, "That guy was the worst," and Emma immediately replies, "I know, right?"
That phrase right there, "I know, right?" is arguably one of the most powerful conversational tools in the English language.
Oh, absolutely.
It is the ultimate expression of enthusiastic, empathetic agreement. It doesn't just mean I agree with your factual statement. It means I completely validate your emotional experience. It creates instant solidarity.
It is like the linguistic equivalent of a high five.
That is a great way to put it.
And that solidarity allows Chloe and Emma to reset and properly introduce themselves to each other. And this is where we get to the core of the video's lesson. When they introduce themselves, they don't win it. They use a specific three-part framework: present, past, and future.
It is elegant, it is simple, and it completely bypasses the panic of, tell me about yourself.
So let's explore how this architecture actually works, starting with the very first layer, which is the present.
Right. The psychological goal of this initial phase isn't to impress the other person. It is simply to establish a baseline of reality.
Keep it grounded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are offering 3 discrete pieces of information: just your name, your geographical origin or current location, and your current professional role.
And keep it incredibly simple. Emma says, "I'm originally from London, but I've been based here in New York for 2 years. I work as a graphic designer." That is it.
Very clean.
And Chloe follows the exact same rhythm. She says, "I'm from Seattle and I work in marketing, focusing on digital campaigns." It is so clean.
It is clean because it obeys the golden rule of this framework.
Yeah.
The present phase must be constrained to 1 or 2 sentences maximum.
Okay, I want to push back on this just a little bit, because when I hear someone say their name, city, and job in 2 sentences, it sounds dangerously close to an elevator pitch.
Oh, interesting.
And we have all been trapped by people delivering rehearsed elevator pitches. They can feel very dry, very transactional. How is this different?
That is a really crucial distinction to make. An elevator pitch is inherently persuasive. It is designed to sell a product, secure an investment, or market your skills.
Right.
The present layer of this introduction is not trying to sell anything. It is purely contextual. You're just giving the other person the coordinates to locate you on the map of their mind.
Ah, okay. That makes total sense. I like to picture it like walking into a bookstore.
Okay.
The present step is just the title and the subtitle on the spine of the book. You are simply telling the other person what shelf you belong on. Like, oh, she is on the marketing shelf. She is from the Seattle section.
I love that.
You are giving them the category. You are absolutely not pulling up a chair, grabbing them by the collar, and reading the entire first chapter out loud.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
You are offering the metadata, not the manuscript.
Mm.
And if we look back at our villain, Richard, this is precisely where his social awareness failed. He completely skipped the title and subtitle and immediately started reading the 20-page appendix of his resume.
Yeah.
By keeping your present to 2 sentences, you are explicitly demonstrating respect for the other person's time. You are leaving oxygen in the room.
You aren't suffocating them with your proactive synergy.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have delivered the title and subtitle. They know what shelf you're on. The baseline is set. But you can't just stop there, right? Because nobody becomes best friends over the fact that they both exist in a marketing department. You need a transition.
Precisely. A professional baseline is necessary, but it is rarely the soil where an actual relationship grows. We don't connect over job titles. We connect over shared passions, quirks, or intriguing differences.
The human stuff.
The human stuff, yeah. So once the baseline is established, you have to pivot. And this is the second layer of the framework, the past. Although the video more accurately frames this as life outside of work, which really means your hobbies.
This is where the magic happens. This is where Chloe and Emma actually start to like each other. Chloe mentioned that she loves hiking on local trails and testing out complicated vegan recipes.
Such a great detail.
And Emma shares that she has a minor obsession with exploring hidden vintage bookshops.
Notice the stark psychological contrast between what Chloe and Emma offer and what Richard offered.
Oh, it is night and day.
Richard tried to impress with abstract concepts like proactive skills. Chloe and Emma offer highly visual, tangible scenes. You can picture someone hiking a trail. You can smell the old paper in a vintage bookshop. They are painting a picture.
And the vocabulary they use to paint that picture is so relaxed and authentic. If you are learning English, or honestly, even if it is your first language, the phrasing highlighted in the video is pure gold.
It really is.
Instead of standing there rigidly and saying, my hobbies include hiking and cooking, which sounds like a dial-up modem from 1998, Chloe uses this wonderful phrase. She says, when I'm not glued to my computer, you can usually find me. I love that. Glued to my computer.
It is incredibly effective because it relies on shared human experience. Yeah. Almost everyone in the modern workforce understands the physical and mental sensation of being tethered to a screen.
Oh, yeah. We all feel that.
By using that specific idiom, glued to my computer, Chloe is acknowledging a universal frustration. She builds a tiny bridge of empathy before she even introduces her actual hobby.
That is so smart.
Another wonderfully casual phrase the video points out is Emma saying, I'm a big fan of.
Right. I'm a big fan of vintage bookshops. It doesn't sound like she is boasting or listing achievements. It just sounds like she is sharing a little piece of her joy. But let's dig into the mechanics of this. Psychologically, why does shifting the conversation to a hobby work so well? What is actually happening between the two people in that moment?
What we're looking at here is the creation of conversational hooks, or what sociologists sometimes call affordances. Think about the cognitive burden of a conversation.
It can be a lot.
It is. When you meet someone new, your brain is working in overdrive, trying to figure out what to say next so things don't get awkward.
Oh.
When you mention a specific, vivid hobby, you are essentially throwing out a hook. You are giving the other person a menu of incredibly easy options for their next question.
You are doing the heavy lifting for them. You are removing the friction.
Exactly. If Emma says she loves vintage bookshops, she has just handed Chloe a silver platter of follow-up questions. Chloe can ask, oh, what is the best book you found recently? Or do you have a favorite shop in the city? Or even, I prefer a Kindle. What do you love about physical books?
So many options.
The hobby provides a natural, effortless path forward.
And that explains why Richard was so unbearably exhausting to talk to. He provided zero hooks.
None.
If a guy looks at you and says, I have highly developed proactive skills, what on earth is the follow-up question? Wow, Richard, tell me, how proactively did you synergize today?
Right. What do you even say to that?
You can't ask a human question about that. It is a flat wall of corporate jargon.
Right. Richard forced the entire cognitive burden of the conversation onto Chloe and Emma, while simultaneously trapping them. By offering a hobby, a hook, you invite the other person to actively participate. You successfully transition the dynamic from a one-way broadcast into a two-way dialogue.
Okay, so you have successfully navigated the trickiest parts. You dropped the anchor with your title and subtitle. You threw out the hook with your past, your hobbies, your life outside the screen. You are having a nice little chat.
You are in the flow.
But we have all been in that terrifying situation where the hobby conversation naturally winds down. You both nod, smile, and then total silence. The dreaded conversational fade out. How do we prevent that?
The fade out is where most introductions collapse. You run out of immediate material and neither person knows how to politely disengage or transition. This is why the third and final layer of the framework is so vital. The future.
Here.
You have to end with a vision.
How exactly do our heroes pull this off in the video?
They smoothly transition from what they enjoy doing now to what they're building toward. Chloe shares that her long-term professional goal is to eventually run her own small boutique marketing agency.
Very cool.
And Emma shares that her ultimate ambition is to open her own independent design studio.
And once again, the linguistic structure here is a massive shortcut for you. The sentence template you want to borrow is, right now my main focus is blank, but in the future my goal is to blank. It creates a definitive narrative arc.
It acts as the punctuation mark at the end of the introduction.
Mm.
It provides absolute narrative closure.
It is a built-in exit strategy. I think that is my absolute favorite part of this entire blueprint.
It is so practical.
It really is. When you end your introduction by stating a future goal, you never have to wonder if you should keep talking. You have literally reached the end of your chronological timeline. Present, past, future. You have arrived at the horizon. You can comfortably stop talking, take a sip of your drink, and seamlessly pass the baton to the other person.
That is the practical utility of it, certainly. It acts as an incredibly polite brake pedal, preventing you from overstaying your welcome, which again is the antithesis of the Richard approach.
Definitely.
But if we analyze the deeper psychology of the future step, it does something far more powerful than just giving you an excuse to stop talking. It leaves the listener with a lingering impression of trajectory.
Tell me more about that. Trajectory over status.
Precisely. When you share a future goal, you are sharing your drive. You are revealing your engine. Even if the person you are speaking to works in a completely unrelated industry and doesn't care about marketing agencies or design studios, human beings universally respect ambition.
We really do.
We are hardwired to be interested in people who are building things, learning things, or moving toward a horizon. It ends your entire introduction on a pronounced upward trajectory.
It makes you sound dynamic. It completely reframes you. You are no longer just a static employee occupying a desk at a specific company. You are a person in motion.
Yes, in motion.
Think about Richard again. Despite his endless bragging about being proactive, he actually came across as incredibly static and rigid. All he did was list past attributes and current metrics.
Richard was entirely focused on proving his worth through a historical audit of his resume. Chloe and Emma demonstrated their immense value through their future potential. It is a much more magnetic way to present yourself to the world.
It really is. So let's pull all of this together because we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today, and we want you to walk into your next networking event or even your next casual dinner party feeling completely bulletproof.
Absolutely.
We started with that universal spike of anxiety when someone says, "Tell me about yourself." And we have entirely dismantled that anxiety using this three-part blueprint.
It is about cognitive ease, both for you and for the person listening.
Exactly. Step one, the present. This is your anchor. Give them the title and subtitle of your book, your name, where you are based, and your job. Keep it to 2 sentences. Show them you respect their time. Step two, the past, or your hobbies. This is your hook. Pivot away from the baseline and offer them a glimpse of your life when you aren't glued to your computer. Give them an easy, vivid detail so they know exactly what to ask you next.
The silver platter.
The silver platter, exactly. And step three, the future, your graceful landing. Share what you are building toward to provide a natural exit strategy and leave them with an impression of dynamic ambition.
And remember the overarching lesson from the vocabulary we explored today. The goal isn't to sound like a polished corporate brochure. It is to sound human.
Yes.
Using conversational phrases, validating the other person's experience with an "I know," right, and avoiding the unfiltered data dump, these are the nuances that transform a rigid introduction into a genuine connection.
And as a very practical application for you today, we highly recommend you take 5 minutes and literally map this out. Write down your present, past, and future. Actually script out your title and subtitle. Find your hook. Articulate your future goal. Having that specific architecture in your back pocket is so empowering, you will never freeze up again.
And if you have the time, it is incredibly beneficial to watch the source animation itself. Pay close attention to the slightly slow, deliberate pacing Chloe and Emma use.
That is a great tip.
They do not rush their sentences. It is a very relaxed pace, which is perfect for English learners to study. They speak with the quiet confidence of people who know exactly where their story is going.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. If you found this framework helpful, please make sure you subscribe to the Easy English Flow feed so you never miss out on these kinds of psychological shortcuts and social deep dives. We absolutely love deconstructing the hidden mechanics of how people connect.
But before we sign off, this discussion raises a rather profound question, something I think is worth mulling over long after this audio stops playing. We spent a lot of time analyzing how the future step of this introduction leaves the strongest lasting impression. It is the final note you play. It is the recency effect in action.
Right. It is the vision they walk away with. It is what sticks in their memory.
Exactly. So consider this. If that future step truly leaves the strongest impression, how much does the specific goal we choose to articulate actually rewrite the way the world views our overall potential?
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If you introduce yourself simply as an employee doing a job, you are instantly categorized one way in the listener's mind. But if you introduce yourself as someone actively building toward opening a studio, launching an agency, or exploring a totally new horizon, does that subtle shift not only change how they perceive you, but also change the types of opportunities and connections they might suddenly decide you are worthy of?
That is a phenomenal thought to leave on. The way you choose to end your introduction might just be the exact way your future begins. Write your script, practice your pacing, and whatever you do, keep avoiding the Richards of the world.